Acha, last time we have seen science first, the third chapter, chemical reactions and equations. In that we have seen the four types of chemical reactions. Let's recap what we have studied before we go to the next point. First, we have seen the combination. So, combination reaction is a reaction in which you will find that two or more reactants combine to form a single product. And I gave you the number of examples. So, one of my examples is we know sodium and chlorine. So, here are two products, two reactants are there, and both the reactants give one product, and that's why it is called combination reaction. Here we know that reactants we write one side and the product we write other side. And if in reactant or product, if more substances are there or more compounds are there, then we write plus side. And between reactant and product we show an arrow. Achha, the second type is decomposition. Then we decompose. So from two or more products, if the two or more products are produced from a single reactant, then it is called decomposition. Then it's from a single reactant, two or more products are produced. For example, if we take HGO, mercury oxide, on heating, you will get mercury and oxygen. So from one single, you get two products, and that's what this is called decomposition. The next one we studied displacement. A chain displacement reaction, you will find that here the ions in the product side are displaced. The more reactive displaces the less reactive. So ion of the less reactive is displaced by the more reactive. You know that iron based Fe, ferrous, is more reactive than copper, and that's why it displaces copper to form ferrous sulfate, and copper is displaced. And the last one is double decomposition. In double decomposition, the ions are exchanged reactant side. For example, we know that sodium chloride and silver nitrate. So sodium we know positive, chlorine negative, silver positive, nitrate negative. So here are two reactants are there. Sodium chloride, sodium positive reacts with nitrate negative to form sodium nitrate, and this is salt. And silver chloride, silver positive, chlorine negative, you get silver chloride, and chloride is precipitated. So you find the double displacement reaction. One is precipitated. Here also barium chloride and sodium sulfate. So barium combines with sulfate to form barium sulfate and sodium chloride. So this we have studied last time. Now here we will study few more reactions like exothermic, endothermic, oxidation and reduction reaction, and then we will see that how the reaction take place and the speed of the reaction. Pause. Next we will see the exothermic and the endothermic reaction. Achha, what are these two reactions? Just look at the first and the second equation. First equation and second equation. Achha, let us look at these two equations. The first equation is calcium carbonate, and here the reactant side we have shown a triangle. The meaning of triangle is heat. It is heated, and when calcium carbonate is strongly heated, we get calcium oxide and carbon oxide is liberated. So here when we give heat, the bonds between them are broken because heat is a form of an energy, and this energy is utilized to break the bonds between calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. And therefore this reaction, when the heat is absorbed by the substance reactant side, then it is called endothermic reaction. Here the heat is absorbed, and that's why this is called endothermic reaction. Endothermic reaction. At the same time, if you take a quicklime, this is called quicklime. Also called calcium oxide. And when calcium oxide is dissolved in water, you find the large amount of heat is liberated. So large amount that even we can prepare a tea. So large amount of heat is liberated, and calcium hydroxide is formed. This is called slackening. So here heat is liberated and heat is shown the reactor product side. Here the heat is shown reactant side, there the heat is shown product side. Since the heat is liberated, it is called exothermic reaction. This reaction is called exothermic. So if you ask an exam, what is endothermic reaction and what is exothermic reaction? So endothermic reaction is a reaction in which the heat is absorbed, and exothermic reaction is a reaction in which the heat is liberated. So when in a reaction, chemical reaction, the heat is liberated, then it is called exothermic reaction. Now let us take two more examples. In a test tube, you take potassium nitrate and add water in it, and you find that test tube has become very cold. The test tube very cold, that means heat is absorbed, and that's why since here heat is absorbed, it is called endothermic reaction. So this is also endothermic. Endo means inside. So heat is absorbed inside, and that's why this is called endothermic reaction. At the same time, if you take sodium hydroxide in a test tube and put water, you'll find that it becomes hot. So here the test tube becomes hot, then heat is liberated, and therefore this is called exothermic reaction. Now we will study the rate of chemical reactions. Now here the rate of chemical reactions. The rate of chemical reaction depends on 5 factors. The first, nature. Second, size. Third, temperature. Fourth, concentration. And fifth, catalyst. Pause करना थोड़ी. अच्छा, here we will see the rate of chemical reactions. We know that if a sodium metal is put in water, then it reacts with water immediately in a short time, and you find the hydrogen gas comes out, and the heat is liberated that time, and the heat is so strong that the hydrogen gas burns as if the sodium burning on in water. So it decomposes water and sodium hydroxide is formed, and this reaction is very vigorous. It takes place in a very short time. At the same time, if you take aluminum and zinc in a test tube and add hydrochloric acid, concentrated hydrochloric acid in both, you'll find that the reaction with aluminum with hydrochloric acid takes place faster than the reaction of zinc with hydrochloric acid. So here aluminum and hydrochloric acid, you find aluminum chloride and hydrogen gas is liberated. Achha, let's balance this. Here 3 is there, here 2 is there, so 3 to the 6. So here we have to write 6, and therefore 3, here 2 will come, 2 3 to the 6, and 3 to the 6, both 6, and therefore here 2 will come. Now here chlorine and hydrogen both 2 are there, so write here 2. So in this way this is balanced. So you find the rate of reaction depends on the nature of the reactants. You find here sodium, potassium, they are very vigorous, and that's why here the reaction is faster. In case of aluminum and zinc, we'll find the aluminum is faster than zinc, whereas magnesium very slow. And in iron with water, we'll find that iron gets rust, but it takes long time. So the rate is different in different substances, and therefore the nature of it depends on nature of reactants. At the same time, the size. If we take the powder sugar, powder sugar, and the big pieces of sugar, and put in water and try to dissolve this, you'll find the powder sugar dissolves first, and then the big pieces. Then if you take the big pieces of any substance, the reaction will take slowly. But if you take the powder, the reaction will take faster. So here it depends on the size. The smaller the size, the faster the reaction. So keep in mind, smaller size, faster the reaction. Now next, temperature. Of course, we know that if we prepare oxygen from potassium chloride, then we have to give heat. And if you give heat, as you give heat, more and more heat, the reaction will take place faster. So potassium chloride will form and oxygen is liberated. But it depends on heat. Stronger the heat, faster the reaction. So take note, the stronger the heat, faster the reaction. So here the reaction depends on the temperature. If you increase the temperature, the rate of reaction will also increase. And it is said that after every 10 degrees Celsius rise in temperature, the rate of reaction is double. Achha, so this is regarding the temperature. Now next, concentration. Of course, it depends on concentration also. If you take sulfuric acid, concentrate, and sulfuric acid, dilute. So this is let us take dilute, and this is concentrated. And if you take copper, here reaction doesn't take place. So dilute reaction doesn't take place, but here reaction takes place faster. So it depends on the concentration. Here also, if you take hydrochloric acid, stronger hydrochloric acid, concentrated hydrochloric acid, the reaction will be faster. Why? Because in hydrochloric acid, there the atoms of the molecules of hydrochloric acid more, and in dilute, more water is there, less atoms or less molecules of hydrochloric acid are present, and that's why it depends on the concentration of the acids. So more the concentration, more faster the reaction. And lastly, catalyst. We know that in the preparation of oxygen, we take potassium chloride and we heat potassium chloride at about 600 degrees Celsius. Even then you find that oxygen comes slowly, the small bubbles will come, small bubbles. But at the same time, if you use manganese dioxide as a catalyst, the reaction will take place faster. So catalyst is a substance that doesn't take part in chemical reaction. Take note that this doesn't take part in chemical reaction, but only mere presence, the reaction is accelerated, speeded up. The reaction becomes faster by just presence of manganese dioxide. And in this way, you find there are different types of catalysts used in the laboratory to faster the rate of reaction. So the first example, we know that in the preparation of oxygen in laboratory from potassium chloride, manganese dioxide is used. Also, sulfur trioxide from sulfur dioxide and oxygen to prepare sulfur trioxide. Here, platinum or vanadium pentoxide is used. So in this way, the different catalysts are used, also given in the book. So these are the five factors are there on which the rate of chemical reaction depends. The most important is a catalyst. So once again, catalyst is a substance that doesn't take part in chemical reaction. Doesn't take part in chemical reaction. But accelerate the reaction. Also in the hydrogenation of oil, edible oil, hydrogenation of edible oil. You know that nickel you use as a catalyst. Even to prepare ammonia from nitrogen and hydrogen molybdenum is an element is used as a catalyst. So in different catalysts are used in the laboratory or in the chemical factories to faster the rate of reaction possible. Acha, in the next part we will see the oxidation and reduction reaction. Oxidation and reduction reaction. In fact, these two reactions take place simultaneously, and that's why it is also called redox reaction. Acha, what is oxidation reaction? You'll find that in a chemical reaction in which the reactant combines with oxygen. So definition is very easy. Oxidation. So combination with oxygen is called oxidation. So here the reactant combines with oxygen to form oxide. For example, let us take magnesium. When magnesium wire is burnt in atmosphere, then it combines with oxygen to form magnesium oxide. At the same time, if coal is burnt in oxygen or in air, it combines with oxygen and it forms carbon dioxide. So you find that both the oxides, these are the oxides of oxygen, and that's why here magnesium is oxidized to magnesium oxide. Carbon, or we can say the coal or carbon, is oxidized to carbon dioxide. So this is called oxidation. At the same time, reduction. Now you find that in oxidation, we know the magnesium is positive. Carbon also is taken as positive here. So magnesium is positive. That means to form magnesium oxide, it loses electron. It loses electron. It gives electron to oxygen, and that's why the chemical reaction in which the electrons are lost. So losing electrons. So as we know, they combine with oxygen or losing hydrogen, loses hydrogen or electrons, also called oxidation. So here magnesium loses electron to form magnesium oxide, and therefore it is oxidation. Now reduction is opposite to oxidation. We know in oxidation it combines with oxygen. So reduction, that means losing oxygen or combining with hydrogen, because you find that in periodic chart hydrogen is extreme left and oxygen is extreme right. Hydrogen is one charge, oxygen -2. So the extreme, one extreme left or the extreme right, and that's why losing, combining with oxygen or losing hydrogen is oxidation. And exactly opposite, reduction, is combining with hydrogen or losing oxygen is called reduction. And here you will find one example is there. Copper oxide with hydrogen, you will find that hydrogen has great affinity, attraction for oxygen, and therefore it takes oxygen from copper to form water. So here you will find that hydrogen is oxidized. But to oxidize hydrogen, copper is reduced. So copper oxide is reduced to copper, because copper has lost oxygen. In the reaction, you will find the reactant side copper oxide is there, and product side only copper is there. And you will find that copper has lost oxygen. So losing oxygen is called reduction. So here copper is reduced and hydrogen is oxidized. Acha. Now who has reduced copper? Hydrogen has reduced copper, and therefore hydrogen is called oxidizing agent, because it has reduced copper. So oxidizing agent reduces other reducing agent. Hydrogen is reducing agent. So hydrogen is oxidized itself, but it has reduced copper, and that's why hydrogen is called reducing agent. Just now we are saying oxidation and reduction. Now one question mostly asked in exam: what is redox reaction? Redox is a combination of reduction and oxidation. Redox, reduction reaction and oxidation reaction. We will find that in every chemical reaction we will find where there is oxidation, there is a reduction, and where there is reduction, there is oxidation. Let us take first example, iron oxide, and this is coke. This is iron oxide, and this is coke. We know that iron, pure iron, is obtained in the iron furnace. Adding coke or burning iron oxide with coke, so you'll find then from iron oxide, iron is formed and carbon dioxide is liberated. Now let us balance this reaction. So you'll find here carbon has taken oxygen. So carbon is oxidized. So here carbon is oxidized. Because what do you mean by oxidation? The combined with oxygen is called oxidation. So carbon is oxidized. But at the same time you find the carbon oxidized. For carbon to get oxidized, it has taken oxygen from iron, and therefore iron is reduced. So iron, this is reduced. So someone is to be reduced when it oxidizes others. So you find the iron is reduced and carbon is oxidized. So this is called redox reaction. So in every reaction you find reduction and oxidation, both reaction take place at the same time, simultaneously. Let us take one example, copper oxide and hydrogen. So when copper oxide is heated strongly and hydrogen is passed over copper oxide, you find that hydrogen is oxidized. So here hydrogen is oxidized to water. So here hydrogen is oxidized, then who is reduced? So copper is reduced. Copper has lost oxygen. So losing oxygen is called reduction. So copper has reduced and copper has reduced. So copper oxide has reduced to copper. Actually copper oxide has been reduced to copper. Achha, let us take one more example. Third example now. When sulfur oxide gas is passed through the solution of hydrogen sulfide gas, this is also gas, but this is a solution of hydrogen sulfide gas. Sulfur oxide gas is passed through it. You find that reduced particles of sulfur will seen suspending and water is formed. So here sulfur is reduced. So we know that sulfur dioxide. So hydrogen is oxidized. So hydrogen has combined with oxygen. So hydrogen is oxidized, and that's why sulfur is reduced. So here hydrogen is oxidized. When sulfur dioxide is reduced to sulfur. So whenever they will ask, given what is a redox reaction and give example. So you can give any of these three reactions. First and second reactions are very easy, and give the example. So oxidation. So you find that in redox reaction, both reactions take place simultaneously, oxidation and reduction. If one is reduced, the other is oxidized. So one who gets oxidized is called reducing agent, and one who is reduced is called oxidizing agent. Because to get itself reduced, it has to oxidize someone, and to get itself oxidized, to reduce someone. And that's why one who reduces is called oxidizing agent, and one who is oxidizes itself is called a reducing agent. Take note of this. First.